Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Wood and Chat podcast. I'm your host Shifumidada, and please, if you've not subscribed to this channel, kindly do so right now, and don't forget to click the like button. It helps us to get the video in front of people who needs it, and also don't forget to switch on your notifications so that you get updated anytime we post. We post one videos per week every Saturday. So on this podcast we talk about everything entrepreneurship, from the highs to the lows to the in-betweens, and we don't gatekeep. We tell you the real raw truth without gatekeeping anything. And I want to say thank you to everyone for the amazing feedback we've been receiving so far. It's been tons of feedbacks about how helpful this channel has been to you. I also want to officially welcome you to the last quarter in the year 2025. I mean, just like that, we're in the last quarter, and I know that so many people right now, being the last quarter of the year, there are lots of some people's hope are going down already. Some people's energy are already going down, thinking about is that okay, there are some goals I set at the beginning of the year and I've not been able to achieve them, or things I set out to do and I've not been able to achieve them. And this season, so many people's morals are always damping or getting lower. And that is one why I want to treat the topic we are treating today. So today we'll be talking about it, something around goal settings. Yes, I know this is the last quarter, right? But so many things can be achieved even with the 3 months left in this year if you learn how to achieve, how to set smart goals, and learn how to follow through with your goals and how to ensure that they are fulfilled, right? And that is why we are going to be learning this important topic today. So we'll be learning goal setting. So yes, I'll just talk about why do we think goal setting is important. Okay, so the thing is, so many times many people go through life just trying to figure it out without having what they are looking forward to. And at the end of the day, it's difficult to be able to measure when you've even achieved a lot. You'll be so surprised that so many of the people that are having low morale by this time of the year, feeling like I have not done much or something, if you check very well, they are feeling that way because they did not have anything set, and so their result is not measurable, right? So one of the major importance of goal setting is that it gives you clarity and direction. So when you have set goals, you are clear about where you want to go to. You have direction of where you are going to. You know what to do in this time frame, in this season. You know where you have to go to. Then another thing is that it gives you motivation and focus, which is very, very important. There's something that singleness of sight can do for you when you are focused on where you are going. It cuts out the distraction when you have goals that you've set. The other thing is measurement of progress. If you don't know how to track your progress, then you won't be able to even know when you've done a lot, when God has done so many things for you, when you've been able to achieve a lot. It is only the goals that you set down that you can be able to track. Even as little as, I know on this channel we've spoken about to-do list before, as little as to-do lists, most of the time in a day, if you've not written down your to-do list for the day, it's difficult for you to measure how much you've done at the end of the day, right? And some of those little things there and there that you did, they are actually very important things that are worth celebrating. So if you don't have set goals, it's difficult to measure. Okay, so when I also started out in business, it took a while. Initially I just set out to just do me without having clear goals I set out. And one thing that I discovered is that I also get sapped of energy at some points because it's difficult for me to know what I've achieved and what I've not achieved. But from the moment I decided to start having clear set out goals and aspiration for the year, it becomes easier. In fact, I'm filled with more gratitude right now because I'm able to look back and see all those things that looks like an Herculean task when I was heading out or starting the year, starting the section, the quarter, starting the month, and I see them all being achieved. So this is actually very important. And in this episode, I'll be teaching you the SMART goals framework. I know you've probably heard it before, but I just want you to follow through with me in this episode because we are going to be adding context to it in such a way that it will be very, very actionable for you. So the S in SMART represents specific. This means that your goal should be clear and well defined. Instead of saying I want to grow my business, you should say I want to increase my sales by 20% in the next 6 months. So now in this last quarter that we have 3 months left in this year. There are still so many things you can achieve in that business of yours. If it's that you need more clients, you can say to yourself, set a specific goal. I want to acquire 20 more clients every month, making 60 by the end of this quarter, by the end of this year. As specific as that is, you'll be so surprised how all your creative genius is coming to work to ensure that you achieve this goal. Then the M in SMART stands for measurable. How do you want to track progress? How do you want to measure if you are making progress? So instead of saying that I want to get more customers, in the example that I gave initially, instead of saying I want to get more customers, say I want to get 20 more customers every month in this last quarter, making 60 customers at the end of the year. So that way, after October, you can sit down and count that, okay, how many new customers have I had? Part of your measurable is that you are putting measures in place to ensure that as customers are coming in, how do you get their data? How do you save it? If what you've been having in your data capturing before as a business is just, what the customer buys, the name of the customer, the quantity, the amount, you want to take it a step further by creating another column where you input is that, are they new customers? Are they returning customers? That is part of the measures you are putting in place to track your progress, right? Another thing is that at the end of October, you can sit down and check, your records that, okay, how many new customers did we get at the end of this month? And that is going to help you to be able to see that, oh, okay, we got 15 new more customers. We are short of 5. What did we do right? Where did those 15 customers come from? How do we ensure that we have more customers coming in for the next month? How do we ensure that we meet this target in November? So your goal has to be measurable. Then the next one in the SMART framework is letter A, and letter A stands for achievable. Achievable. You have to be very realistic with your goal. Now, for someone who has not had 100 new customers from the beginning of 2025 to October, you are now setting a goal that you want to get 1 million more customers in the last quarter. Think about it. Does that sound realistic? If you've not had the wisdom to get 100 for the past 9 months, then you want to get 1 million in the next 3 months. God is a miracle worker. He's not a magician, right? So, and what you've not built capacity for, you can't just achieve it. So when you are setting your SMART goals, look at what is achievable within your capacity, within the scope of your strength, and even the how much of God you've opened yourself up to, right? So you have to ensure that what you are setting is achievable. Don't set yourself for failure. Most of the time when you see people get angry that, oh, I've prayed, I've set goals, I've done this, I've done that, but I'm not achieving them. If you ask them very well, okay, what goals did you achieve? They are probably things that are not realistic. They are probably things that are not achievable within the scope of their strength, within the scope of how much they've developed themselves. Imagine a primary school student telling you that by the end of this year, my goal is to buy a car and have a mansion in Banana Island. Even if that child is the daughter of the wealthiest man in Africa, how is he or she going to achieve that with his or her own resources? It is unachievable, with the scope of that child as at that point in time. But of course, years down the line, after developing himself or herself, to a reasonable extent and having more income flowing in, he or she might be able to achieve it. So I'm saying that look at what the scope of your strength is, how much have you developed yourself, and set a goal that is achievable. Then the next letter is letter R, and R stands for relevant. Now I need you to ask yourself, does this goal align with the bigger vision? Does this goal align with how I see myself, how I see my business at the end of the day? Am I chasing clouds? This is very important. You don't just set goals for the sake of setting goals because you are told to set goals. You have to set the goals that aligns with your bigger vision, that aligns with where you are going, that aligns with where you see your business at the end of the day. So this is very important. For example, as an entrepreneur, setting a goal that you want to finish 50 Netflix movie before the end of the year, it doesn't make sense. How does that align with your, with the growth of your business? How does that align with your career? How does that align with, profiting your business? So you have to understand, clearly spell it out. This thing that I'm pursuing, how relevant is it right now? And you'll be so surprised at the answers that you will find after digging this deep. Then the last letter in the SMART framework is the letter T. And T stands for time bound. You see, this particular one is where most people make mistakes. And that is why most people get burnout, because most people just set goals without adding a time frame to it. They don't set a time that they want to achieve that particular thing, which is a huge mistake. So there has to be a time frame. Oh, okay, remember the example I made initially, that I want to have 20 customers every month in this last quarter, and by the end of the quarter I'm getting 60 more customers. There is a time frame. So the 60 new customers I want to get at the end of the year, in the last quarter, has already been broken down into 2020 that has a time frame. So that means this goal is not just something that I'm leaving to chance. It is something that I have a time that I'm looking towards. I want to achieve this particular thing, right? And so by the end of that time frame, I'm able to come back and ask myself, oh girl, how have you done? I'm able to call my team together and ask them, okay, how have you done? What did we do right? What did we not do right? So there's a time frame. It is not just something we just say to the hair without having a time frame to it. And this particular framework is a secret of high achievers. Any high achiever you see out there, yes, they can be spontaneous or some things, but look at some of the strategic things that they've done. There is the SMART framework in it. They are not just living every part of their life to chance. And because they've, as it comes to a certain level of mastery, that is when sometimes they take some spontaneous decision, it looks as if it comes as perfect, because there's something they've mastered over time. They've mastered the art of setting goals, pursuing it and all that, and they've trained their senses to be able to recognize, the right opportunities when they see them. So it is very important that you follow through this same framework, follow through it. What do you want to achieve in the rest of this year? Sit down with it, use the SMART framework, and you will see yourself achieving lots of progress. Okay, now that you know how to set the right goals, I just want us to look at how to actually achieve all these goals. And the number one thing is, break your big goals into smaller milestones. There's a way a man can set himself up for failure, and there's a way a man can set himself up for success. Most of the time, people just want to chase the big picture. And the truth is that even those big mansions you see out there, they didn't just appear as a mighty mansion. It is the laying of bricks over bricks, a little here, a little there, then the big mansion emerges. They didn't just drop from heaven. So in the midst of your bigger vision, look at what are the little things that I can start doing to achieve this big thing. What small level can I do right now to achieve the big thing? And this is the method I adopt even in my personal life and in my business. Whenever I want to achieve anything, the first thing first is that, okay, what do we need to do? For example, when we wanted to get an NAFDAC certification, I had to break it down. Okay, what are the steps that are required? Because by the time you look at it look at the big picture, especially if you are a newbie, like I was back then in business, it will look too big for you. because the financial implication and every other thing. But instead of thinking of the entire big picture, I decided to break them down. Okay, the first thing I'm going to be doing this week is that I'm going to make inquiry about what NAFDAC entails. Then I'm going to make inquiry about how to meet each of those things. I'm going to make inquiry about how to set a space, in the right shape. I'm going to work on documentation. I'm going to, and even on that documentation, I have to break it down. Okay, today I'm going to work on recall. Tomorrow I'm going to work on how QC should work. Next, just breaking it down into smaller bits. It is when you now do the smaller bits and they all come together, that is what will deliver the big results to you. So I need you to sit down right now and ask yourself, what is that thing I want to achieve in the remaining days of this year? Now I want you to sit down and begin to break them down into smaller bits. What are those actions, little actions here and there, that I can start taking that will bring me into this bigger vision that I have, that will help me to be able to achieve this goal that I've set for the rest of the year? Then the second thing is, use a vision board or a goal journal. And this is very, very important. See, there is a power in vision. What you see consistently, there's a way it sticks. And whatever sticks to your mind, whatever is easy for you to recall, finds its way into your utterance, finds its way into every other part of your life. And this is extremely important. In fact, I know that there are times in my life that my goals, if you enter my room, you will see them well pasted there, because I want to keep seeing them every day. I want to keep asking myself, it is not that life is now more digitalized. I have my goals written down. They are there on my phone. I have my goals infused into my confession every day. So each day when I wake up, after my prayer, I know that there's something I'm reading, which is my confession. And as I'm reading my confession, there is something that is coming to my brain. One of them is my goal, right? So use a vision board. Use whatever works for you. Be it, I've spoken about sticky notes on this channel before. Sticky notes, to write them there, pin it on your widget on your phone, see it regularly, paste it, close to your dresser, see it regularly. You might have had this thing before, but the only reason why you are not getting results is because you are not taking steps. And that is what I want you to do today. I need you to take steps. Write down those goals, paste it where you will see it consistently. Put it on your phone or your screen where you can see it consistently. There is a big power in vision. Then the next thing is that find an accountability partner. You see this one, very important. Most of the time, most people have not really learned how to be accountable, and so they are not fully utilizing the power in accountability. There is so much power in accountability when you have someone that you've spoken to about your goal, and they are asking you questions frequently, checking up on you. Okay, how far with this? Are you achieving it? Are you achieving that? And this is very, very important. Ask any high achiever you have around you or that you've seen, read their story. You will see that they have people they are accountable to, with different aspects of their life. For example, I have people I'm accountable to when it comes to my business growth. I have people I'm accountable to when it comes to my finances. I have people I'm accountable to when it comes to my spiritual growth. So the different aspects of my life, I have people that, that is their strength and I'm accountable to them. And you don't need to look too far. Most of us feel like the only time we can be accountable to someone is when they are that big mentor there. Everybody wants to be accountable to, that big business icon out there. Okay, this is the person that can hold me accountable. This is the person that can mentor me. But that's your friend around you can be a very good accountability partner. Just look around you. Which area, what do you want to achieve? Okay, who among my friends are disciplined that can keep me accountable? And if you can't find anyone around you who is disciplined enough to keep you accountable, then it's an indication that you need to work on changing your circle. First changing yourself, then also changing your circle, right? Or probably you are not seeing the people in your circle very well in the fullness of their capacity. So you need to have someone that you're accountable to. This is extremely important. And then the next thing is track your progress and adjust. Don't be afraid to tweak your goals as needed. Ask yourself consistency. Oh, what have we achieved? There should be times that you are having checks in, be it daily or weekly. What have you achieved? Oh, okay, this method is not working. How about using this method? You know, with the NAFDAC example I used earlier, I remember that at some point during the NAFDAC certification process, there was a time where we wanted to use when we encountered one major roadblock, and it was looking as if it is not going to work, because in fact that roadblock was something that the goal that I've set, the step-by-step goals I have set in achieving that NAFDAC certification did not capture. And when we encountered this, one of the things I had to say to myself is sit down and think about it. Okay, what do we need to tweak? What is not in this step-by-step goals I've set that needs to come in order for us to say achieve this goal? So don't be afraid to tweak your goal as needed, but you can only recognize what needs to be tweaked if you are coming in to check regularly and to track your progress. So we've talked about why goals matter, we've talked about SMART goals framework, and we've talked about how to achieve your goal. And what we need to do right now, what I need you to do right now, is to actually take steps. Yes, I'm talking to you. I need you to actually take steps. I need you to take out time. Don't even wait till later in the day. As soon as you're finishing this video right now, go over it again. Bring out your pen and your journal and start writing down. What do I want to achieve? How do I want to achieve them? Break them down under the SMART goal framework. You don't need to start with so many goals. Just pick an aspect of your business where you want to see changes and begin to write down. Pick an aspect of your life where you want to see changes and start writing down, following the step-by-step that has been explained in this video. And I can bet it with you that you are going to see tremendous changes by the end of the month and by the end of the quarter. All right, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you really enjoyed this particular episode, and I hope it added so much value to you. And please don't forget to subscribe if you've not done so, and ensure to on the notification button and notification bell so that you'll be able to get updates anytime we post. And also don't forget to like and to share with that friend, that entrepreneur, that career woman, that colleague, that student around you that needs to listen to this and to watch this. All right, thank you so much. See you in the next episode. Bye.